Experience Karen Hunter
in a completely different way.
Karen Hunter is awesome. The podcast.
If you like me on SiriusXM Urban View Channel 126, you're gonna love me in Karen Hunter is Awesome. Hey, this is Karen Hunter, host of the Karen Hunter Show on SiriusXM's Urban View. Karen Hunter is Awesome is an actual podcast to bring heat and energy and knowledge and power, a 1-2 punch that I don't think you get anyplace else. Tell the truth. Check out the podcast wherever you get your podcast. You will not be disappointed.
We talked a little bit earlier in chapter 10 of my new book, This Changes Everything. I deal with the Christian, how can you call yourself a Christian and essentially vote for Trump? How you can call yourself a Christian and be a part of, storming the Capitol. And are we serving the same God if we are not truly loving God and loving each other? And I tackle that. And here in the next couple of days, I'm releasing a video on my socials, the Tyler Merritt Project on Instagram and Facebook, a video, an excerpt from chapter 10 that I'm going to send you personally because I can't wait for you to watch it. It's just me kind of dealing with the struggle that I have as a Black man in America who claims Jesus, but finds myself wildly embarrassed to use the word Christian because that word has been vandalized and Jesus has been vandalized. So I can't wait for you to kind of, and everybody listening, because y'all are my people, to kind of hear what I say about that.
I've been having these conversations with Frederick Douglass Haynes III, around end times, but not really. The end times is my way in. The way today, Wicked was my way into having a larger conversation about who we are. I'm about to have a conversation with Otis Moss III about it as well, because people who are in these positions as pastors have to shepherd us through these times, but also it's our responsibility to read, to know, to understand what your purpose and your role is in a time such as this, and to step into it and to not be fearful. We were talking a little bit off mic. I'm going to bring this to on mic. They're coming for folk. It's not just, Pam Bondi is out there. If you post a picture of Elon Musk bald, that might be a hate crime or a act of terrorism, which means they can arrest you under that. It's like, where's the line? I remember some of the hosts was like, are we going to be okay on Urban View saying the things we say? And I'm like, yeah. And then every day it's clear that means that somebody's going to have to fight for us to be able to say the things we say in these spaces that we're in, right? And that means we have to fight for other people to have the right to say, there should be no silence in this time at all. It should be deafening, not just people showing up at these rallies. I don't think Black people should be in them streets, but we should not be silent in the face of this, because it's not just first they come from. We're first. They coming for us first. The trial run was in Namibia. Before the final solution in Germany, it was in Namibia. It's always going to be us. So we don't have the luxury to be on the fence or to be ambiguous about what this is. And the narratives are super important. So we have to control those. Don't let people call you. I don't let people call Karen, use that as a pejorative. And I know it seems petty, but if you allow for that to happen, and to my credit, people do not come into this space using Karen as a pejorative, and I'm hearing it a lot less. I'm going to take credit for that, because I'm zero tolerant. You're not going to use my name as a horrible name for white women. There's a lot of horrible named white women. Karen's not the one. She brought raisins to the potato salad. That is not what Jenny Thomas is doing. That is not what Amy Cooper did, choking her dog, calling the cops. She's the one. So if you're going to call somebody something, call them Amy or Jenny, but it won't be. But I'm saying, I'm using that as an example. Zero tolerance. No, you don't get. I know what you mean. But no, not in my face. My name is Karen. That's how personal I've made it, right? So you're not gonna talk about Black people. You're not. Nope. I'm Black. Nope. Change it up. Figure out how to say what you need to say without bringing us into it. And that goes for the music. That goes for the art. That goes for all of it, right? So if we're not zero tolerant, how do we expect them if we've allowed them to use the N-word in our faces,
right?
And we use it freely.
Listen,
where's the line? Where's the line?
For all the time, you wildly impacted me with that in the first couple of times I was on the show. When I watched you, I tell this story often. We were talking about the N-word, and somebody called in and said, I'm a first time caller, and I love your show, Karen. And she goes, and I agree with you on saying, and then she said the N-word. She didn't say the N-word. She said it. And you hung up on her like almost immediately. And I remember sitting there with like an open mouth, like, oh my gosh. And you were like, no, we are not going to do that. We are not going to do it. And I, to this day, man, it changed the whole way that I go about that word in particular.
And look, it's not a perfect walk. Perfection is a process. It'll slip through every now and then. It depends on the time of day or whatever. But if you have in your mind to get it right, then you get it right. You get it right every day. You get up every day to get it right. You may get it wrong, but then you get up the next day and you get it right. Like this is the process. But we at least have to know what we stand for. And I think some of us have never been challenged to know what we actually believe and what. And this is my point. That if you could sit in a theater and be like, oh, wow, she got away, yay. And then come out that theater and treat people horribly because they're Muslim or look at her and her hijab and look at, they're killing babies or what. If you can be that person, they're eating cats and dogs, all them Haitians, all of them are,
Right.
These black people are lazy. If you're that person and you can sit in that theater, then you've missed the message. And somebody needs to remind you. I'm here. I've deputized myself. I will remind you. I'm here for it. Urbane. It's not a negative. Urban's not negative at all. It's a refinement. People who move to urban places, they read more than people who don't. Like I know it's changed, but we have to reclaim our time.
Look, you know
All
what?
right.
I think it needs to be spoken to, and I want to push this for gentlemen, for men as well. And I know this because of publishing. We as men need to read more. For some reason now, the big popularity, most people that buy books are women by a large margin. And for whatever reason, men are not reading as much as they used to. I would not only encourage read more, especially black men, read more, but also start finding yourself in conversations with people that have intelligent things to say. And if you find yourself then arguing amongst intelligent people, that's just building muscles. That's building strength. And I'm not talking about arguing with people that don't make no damn sense. I'm talking about having constructive conversations with well-read people. That's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing that makes us more powerful. And it's something we need to focus on more.
Yeah. And let's stop watching weird things on. Oh, all right. Or let's keep watching them because it's fun. During the break, because we're going to bring off break conversations onto I won't let it go, Tyler. Tyler and I are drinking out of our little Stanleys. And I found a black owned company that I'm probably going to be using moving forward. But I got this as a gift from SiriusXM. It was a Christmas gift. So, and I said, you don't have your straw? And you were like, no. And I was like, oh, because this horrible guy on Fox was like, real men don't use straws. They don't eat bananas. They don't drink soup in public. I'm like, sir, I was like, really? Men don't drink straws? Like, oh, so you're that fragile in your sexuality that having a straw makes you less of a man? Anyway, so there's a video that's viral of this black man. He's really well built. His physique is ridiculous, and he's showing you his routine. And he's got this black thing over his mouth that I think keeps him from snoring, and then he brushes his teeth, and it's got the ASMR, the sounds, and then he's got this bowl of ice and water, and he pours this Saratoga water in, and he puts his face in it, and then he goes for this really wild run, and then he comes and jumps in the pool, and then he has a butler or somebody giving him more water. And have you seen this video, Tyler?
I haven't.
You have not.
You said incredible physique, and I thought you were talking about me, but obviously, go ahead.
Okay, all right. I want to do the Azusa Badusa stare at you. Okay,
that's why we're friends.
Yeah, we good. So and you got your physique is good for you. I'm saying the guy's got like an 8-pack all right. So if anyone has seen that movie, it's not a movie. It's a video that. Yeah, it's a reel that somebody posted. But I was like, and people are doing riffs off of it already because it's so ridiculous. And it was like, who's doing this? But it's like, this is what this is what success looks like. And it's like, let's stop following people on the damn social media and find what success looks like for you, what masculinity looks like for you, what femininity looks like for you. Be you, be the whole you can be. And if it means you drink out of a straw because you enjoy drinking out of this, he wouldn't even eat the banana. He took the banana off and put it in his mouth and then rubbed the banana peel on his face for a facial. I said, this guy's doing way too much. And I say, I know he's on purpose not eating a banana. For 100 years, we've been eating bananas with no problem, men and women. Now, all of a sudden, you can't eat a banana because it's like fellatio? Is that what it is? It's so
Listen,
weird.
off air, let's fill people in. Off air, the reason this conversation started is because I have a fingernail painted. I have a black fingernail painted.
I wasn't going to mention it at all.
I know. I'm mentioning it for you. Because I think that would actually kind of made it a little funny based on what we're talking about. And I'm not ashamed of it. It's how I work. And you asked me about it, and I had said I remembered that I liked having a fingernail painted. And then we started talking about me not drinking out of a straw, and you were like, "Oh, what is that not masculine enough for you?" You know. And of course, that's not why I'm not drinking. I just wanted to be able to have the, you know. But there's something to be said about standing in who we are and what we are and what it is we do and being proud about who we are and not apologizing for it, especially when it comes to what masculinity is and shouldn't be. All of this toxic masculinity that we're dealing with that is pushed wildly by Trump too. Like, why? Well, I say that genuinely. Like, why do we need to have that pushed to the front of anything in 2020?
Because it is telling that they're so insecure and they feel so less than, that this has to be, it's back to Wicked. You have to project the very thing that you're not. The Wiz is not powerful. He needs this woman to have power. He needs to be able to control this woman to have power. Watching CBS Sunday Morning, the Urbane guy from Vanity Fair, he said he was the first person to say Trump's hands were way too small for his body. He's the one that first codified that into law that made him so insecure about his hands that he's talking to little Marco Rubio and all this other stuff. He needs to dominate because he feels so small. It's actually the opposite. And we need to be able to see, if you have people in your life that have to be so demonstratively whatever, it's the opposite. It's the exact opposite. He knows he has tiny hands. They're too small for his body. He's never done any hard work. He doesn't have the physique. They got all of this, Superman type physique. You look like a big giant blob of fat. That's what he looks like. He's the opposite. He's never picked up a weight. He doesn't do anything. He does nothing at all masculine. He's wasting our money golfing, and he's a horrible golfer. He lies about everything. Like, I just feel like we're an upside down world, and I want it to be right.
Experience Karen Hunter
in a completely different way.
Karen Hunter is awesome. The podcast.
If you like me on SiriusXM Urban View Channel 126, you're gonna love me. And Karen Hunter is awesome. Hey, this is Karen Hunter, host of the Karen Hunter Show on SiriusXM's Urban View. Karen Hunter is Awesome is an actual podcast to bring heat and energy and knowledge and power, a 1-2 punch that I don't think you get anyplace else. Tell the truth. So check out the podcast wherever you get your podcast. You will not be disappointed.